It's time to get your checking account to zero with free checking from PenFed. That's zero ATM fees, zero balance requirements, and zero time spent waiting for your paycheck to direct deposit because you can receive it up to 2 days early. Open your account with just $25 and see how big zero can be. Apply online today at PenFed.org/free checking. Early direct deposit eligibility may vary between pay periods and timing of payers' funding. To receive any advertised product, you must become a member of PenFed, insured by NCUA.
PenFed's got great rates for everyone.
What is up, everyone? I'm Jeff London. This is the Mediocre Alaskan Podcast, where we're intolerant of weak-minded attitudes that keep you from pursuing new and exciting things. There's the fitness, outdoors, and general lifestyle. Because this is your life. It's your life. What are you doing with your life? Are you saying this is your best life as an excuse and it's really not? What are you doing? It's okay to suck at the beginning. It is okay. You're going to be terrible. I'm mediocre or terrible at a lot of things, but man, I'm having fun, and I will get better, I will get proficient, and I will fill my freezer. So speaking of, I went out on a couple bear hunts this weekend. We're going to have that in here. The first section is on my drive out to today's first spot, which is Sunday, and then the second part is kind of a recap of things in general. So all of that is coming up here. Episode 40 of the Mediocre Alaskan Podcast. Make sure you go to themediocrealaskan.com. Here we go, episode 40. Road trip episode here, coming to you from my 2005 Dodge Dakota with a cracked windshield. Really got a country song feel to it. There's camo all over in here. There's a rifle in here. I'm heading out bear hunting. In the bed of my truck is my Watermaster inflatable raft, which is kind of I used it yesterday when I was checking out an inlet, and to get stealth, it's so much easier, obviously, in a raft than an outboard. And if you're just cruising around in a skiff looking for bear, especially solo, there's no way that you're going to be able to anchor up and get on shore, then make a shot. You can't shoot from a boat. So the raft enables you to kind of get there quietly and maneuver around these inlets and be great. So anyway, that's in the back. Really excited. In order to make the trip go faster, I'm going to talk episode, I guess this is 40. Going to talk some conservation. I was just listening to Joe Rogan podcast with Cam Hanes, and Cam Hanes is an animal, just an absolute beast. As far as the way he uses each day, to have a regular job, and then to run, and then to be a hunter. The guy is just dialed in. The guy is working on a level that most people don't. And so he's on, I think, the International Council for Animal Conservation, some acronym, some council, something that he was appointed to. And was talking about explaining how things really work as far as hunting goes in Africa. And it made sense. I'd heard these stories before about you have these hunting or these game refuges. If you have a game refuge, and there's a lot of animals that would probably have been extinct had they not been on there, they allow hunting as means of income. Because who is going to go to Africa to go to this wildlife safari? Well, some people will, but it's a lot more enticing to get hunters to go over there. And I'm not. I have no desire to kill a zebra or an elephant or a lion, but I do understand that if these areas were not gated off, that poachers would run rampant. And if you didn't have these wildlife refuges where people can go over there and can hunting refuge? I might be jacking up the word here. I'm a little testy. I'm hopped up on PR blend caffeine and kilos coffee here, and I'm fired up because I'm going hunting, and I'm fired up because it pisses me off when people get so upset about hunting, and it's really complex. You can not like hunting, right? That's totally fine. You can not like hunting, but understand how things work. So if you are a dude and you need a job, And this hunting refuge is there. People come in, pay $75,000 to kill an elephant. You get the meat, you get to work there, you have a job, and you have money. And even all the way down on the menu to something that whatever costs $1,500, you can shoot a hog for $800, whatever. All that stuff goes into the economy. If you don't allow the hunting refuge, you don't get that money. So now your person who worked there, that thing got shut down. Now you don't have a job. What are you going to do? How are you going to feed your family? Of course you're going to kill the animals that are running around there. It makes sense. It's not right. But we keep judging these other countries by American standards, and it's ridiculous. You think that people who are hungry care about the morality of killing an elephant? They want food. They don't care if the thing is almost extinct. Oh, kids, we can't eat tonight because this thing is almost extinct. And it's morally wrong to kill this animal because they're beautiful and they're meant to. That doesn't fill a stomach. Come on. Again, I am absolutely fine with people who don't like hunting. Yeah, I have nothing wrong with that. But if you're going to be confrontational about it, know what goes on. How many deer and hogs in the United States of America, what happens to them when they get into vegetables? Right? Hogs and deer are in abundance in a lot of areas of the United States. What do you think happens to them in order to grow food? So if you happen to have a vegetarian, and I don't want to hate on vegetarians. I'm not hating on vegetarians or vegans. I'm just saying these issues are so unbelievably complex. It's not black and white. There's nothing you can clearly be. There's no issue that you can clearly be in the right or clearly be in the wrong, because things are so unbelievably complex, and you will absolutely be confronted with a totally legitimate argument that should kind of render you speechless. Otherwise, you look like an idiot. If you can't just say, "Oh, that's a good point." Yeah. No. Well, that's just. I don't know. Anyway, the road's getting a little bumpy here. Hope you can still hear me. But yeah. So what happens to those hogs, right? What happens to those deer? Huh? What happens to them? Are animals not displaced because are they hogs in some areas are aerial hunted because they're so unbelievably the populations are rampant, they're totally out of control. Up here, one of the main things that I'm totally against factory farming. That is just awful. What cows and chickens, it's just gross. Watching those videos makes me uncomfortable. I don't like them at all. But rather than that driving me to be a vegan or driving me to be a vegetarian, which again, if you want to, that's fine. I don't care. If you want to be a vegan, awesome. Do it for the right reasons. Be excited about it. Do it to help people. Do it to be healthy. That's fine. Great. Same thing with being a vegetarian. But I've kind of gone the other way, and I thought, well, how can I not do that? How can I not outsource the collecting of meat? And so that's why I like to hunt, and that's why I'm on this bear hunt, because I really want to eat it. Black bear kind of has a reputation of not tasting very good, but the spring bear should taste pretty good. The fall bears, when they're eating a lot of berries, if they happen to be down here in Southeast Alaska, there's so much salmon around that most of them are on the rivers. But I want to eat that. I want to do that. I want my lifestyle to be a little more hunter-gatherer. And I know that if you're at a coffee shop in an urban setting, the hunter-gatherer thing is an old, archaic means of living that we have evolved past, and it's not socially acceptable to do that anymore. But just leave me alone. Why can't I just do this? Why can't I? If you don't want to, I haven't had anybody been confrontational toward me about my hunting. I've had some former students who were saddened by the fact that I took an animal, but they get it. I explained to them that that's the way things are. I don't want to be confrontational and say, well, your meat is different, or you eat vegetables and the hogs eat vegetables and the hogs get killed. It's just people. It's just different. It's just so chaotic. But yeah, I haven't had anybody been confrontational towards me. I'm sure some people don't like me at all because of it, but no one's been in my face about it. I've had some friends who've been attacked online for hunting, particularly with wolves. And wolves is another thing that's pretty crazy. People judge wolves in Alaska by down south standards, and so they see wolves as beautiful, majestic creatures, which they are. I mean, they're gorgeous. But they just decimate deer populations. They're such efficient apex predators, and if you have a bad snow, the deer can't get anywhere. They're just mired in the mud, and it's just the winter kill can be insane. And that deer is a primary food source for a lot of people up here. A lot of people live a subsistence lifestyle. And a lot of people, like myself, want to choose to live more off the meat. I can if I want to go to mine's a choice. Mine's not out of necessity, but there are people who eat deer out of necessity. And so if the animal that is decimating the food for these families, it's complex. You're back east and there's no wolves in Massachusetts. And so save the wolves. Wolves are for looking at, not harvesting. Well, if the wolf is eating someone's dinner, someone might go hungry because of lower deer populations. It's, how does that not make sense, you know? But people put up walls. What I think is best because it's what I think. And oh man, I'm getting close to where this is gonna be great. It's low tide. Oh man, we got some nice beach that's exposed here. It's supposed to be pretty hot today, so I'm really not too excited. Well, I'm excited obviously to be out here, but as far as ideal conditions, it's not necessarily ideal, but man, if I was going to be able to be out here in the late evening, this would be really good. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to wrap that up. I think a little conservation there. More of a rant, really, than a podcast, but I've arrived at my destination here. If you want to be vegan, man. If you want to be vegetarian, be vegetarian. Nothing wrong with that. Free country, kind of free. We can get into that later. If you want to hunt, cool. You know, just remember there are other people that have different definitions of things and have different ideas of things. And if you want to look for a fight, you can look for a fight, but why? Why? So... all right, there we go. Got some beach to look for. Bears on, and we'll hopefully have a post-hunt success finishing podcast through the drive home. We'll talk to you later.
After years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by big wireless providers, if we've learned anything, it's that there's always a catch. So when I first heard that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month, I thought, what's the catch? But after talking to them and using their service, it all made sense. There isn't one. Mint Mobile's secret sauce is that they're the first company to sell wireless service online only. They cut out the cost of retail stores and pass those sweet savings directly to you. For anyone who hates their phone bill, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. I was hesitant about having to get a new phone and a new phone number, but with Mint, you can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone and your same phone number along with all of your existing contacts. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or for a family, and at Mint, families start at 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and to get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/waypoint. That is mintmobile.com/waypoint. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/waypoint.
Whew, well, back home, unsuccessful. What I've found that in the hunting more than anything is seeing new territory is kind of investing in future successes. So hunters and anglers, and you look for the silver lining, and at least you know on a bad day fishing is better. Well, yeah. It's true. It's true, but you don't really want to reduce it to a cliche because ultimately the goal is to be successful. But at the same time, getting out there and seeing some new land, there's so many different mountains and so many different spurs of trails and territory on this island that I haven't seen yet. So I saw some good territory. The first spot I went out to, I sat on the creek for a little bit. It just got pretty hot pretty quick, and I was hoping that I would row my raft across the inlet, but it's not super efficient. It's meant for floating down rivers, and if you're going on flat water, I mean, it is perfect for that because you can put your feet down, or if you're walking on the shores, you don't have to drag it. You can put your feet down in it, and so it just stays with you. Just the perfect calm water mobile command center. But the wind was kicking up, so I was on the south side of the island, and the north wind was coming through a little bit of a saddle in the island, or a little bit of a depression in the island, so it just whipped right on up and over the island. And in conjunction with the outgoing tide, I wasn't sure that I wanted to risk wind taking me out, tide taking me out. Even if you're in a kayak and you're fighting the tide and the wind, that's tough. If you're trying to hit straight across and it's hitting you broadside, that's a tough thing to figure out. So rather than cross a wider part of the inlet to get back into a nice little grassy bowl to see if anything was out there, I went to a lake, rode to the back part of the lake and was checking that out. It was a little higher in elevation, so there wasn't as much grass that was budding yet, but man, it was just great to row across the lake, and I got a little sunburn on the hands. I don't know if this is you have a farmer's tan. If hunter's tan is from like the wrist up, you just burn the hands. Fishermen probably have that too. And then I came back to the house, was cleaning up the boat from yesterday's adventure. Man, yesterday's was great. Took the skiff out to an inlet, anchored up, went ashore. Watched just a ton of grassy area. Well, will be grassy right now. It hasn't fully developed yet. Watched that for a while. Nothing came out. Tide was really starting to come up, so I went back to my skiff, which was in this little cove that was protected, and I got my raft. And as soon as I inflated and went around the little cove, I saw a bear on the far side. But it was a big sow. Nothing really I could do. It was tough. It was a very flat, featureless, steep beach. It wasn't on the grassy flat, and so there wasn't a way that I kind of sneak around. It was very flat and there wasn't even like a little cove or any little spit or anything I could get at. And because it was just rock. There was a small little grassy outcropping that was, I don't know, 900 square feet, something like that, not very big. So he had just emerged, or she had just emerged onto that. So I tried to row across the inlet, keep my stench away, but there was just no way that I was in view no matter which way I went so easily, and there was no way I could cross it. So I figured, well, I'm just going to go. I'm gonna be downwind and just try it. And I got about 3/4 of the way, and it went back in the woods. So I didn't. Then I went past it where it was, but that was kind of cool to see one. I went down and sat on those grassy spots, and man, it's stalking from a boat or is so tough because you got the boat engine. But if you've got an inflatable or if you've got a canoe and you can be so quiet, man, that's so stealthy and so nice. And then also make it easier if you have something you can then put the bear in, or whatever you're hunting for, put that in there and go back. And I'm sure this makes sense to some people. They've been doing it forever, but this is the first time that I've used that method. And I've only, been limited bear experiences, but just the whole idea of just sounds so good. And so there's definitely, it'd be much easier for me to, you can gut the bear and put it on the raft and row across rather than, try to figure out ways to go across and get it, or try to bring a skiff into a tidal flat area and try to work real quick and get it loaded, especially if it's a solo hunt. But anyway, so my raft was a lot of fun to just do there. Took some pictures and saw that sow, saw some seals on the way back in, saw just a huge sow on a shore, and saw some whales. So it was a pretty good weekend for sure. Got up to about 70 today, and man, it's hard to believe. It's really got me in summer mode. To be honest, it's going to be really tough for me to go to school tomorrow, Monday, and not just be totally on summer vacation mentally. Now, you talk about the kids checking out early, but after this weekend, goodness sakes, it's going to be hard for me to dial in and check in. I got to teach poetry tomorrow, which I will. It's my job, be a professional, make it happen. But yeah, maybe that's the one thing that separates a teacher from a student, is that in the moments of severe weekend distraction, a teacher dials in on Monday, whereas the kids, maybe that's just growing up. Maybe that's the only thing that grows up in a kid, where the kid wants to have fun for longer and it spills over into the Monday, whereas the teachers have to get serious again. I don't know. Just thought that's interesting. I don't know. I got my brain going a couple different directions right there. But for sure, it's supposed to be nice tomorrow. So I think after school, I'm going to go out and learn some more about the part of the island that I live on. It's a short drive from town, or from where I live. So it's a short drive from town, and then a short drive from where I live is some nice rural territory. I've been walking around there. That big sow that I saw on the way back in, it was just massive. It's pretty close to the road, and there's a quarter-mile hunting rule. You can't take big game within a quarter-mile of the Tongass Highway on Revilla, so that limits some hunting opportunities when it comes to road hunting, which is probably a good thing. Definitely is a good thing. So I was seeing where that sow was and was going to work backwards and check and see its running territory, like how big of an area that it lived in, to try to cross the highway, get a quarter of a mile of a mile back from the road, and see, maybe the loop where it's going, where it's been, and kind of trace that and see if I can put together something. But when I went to the turnout, which is where I marked it on my GPS where I saw it. When I went to that, there's a turnout right there, and that's where a lot of people are dumping had dumped old deer carcasses from last season, and people have dumped trash there. So it's a trash bear, which is why it's so big, which is unfortunate because it's a big old sow, so it probably wouldn't taste great. But at this time of the year, when you're salvaging the meat, and I'm looking forward to eating some good bear meat, knowing that it's been eating old deer carcasses and it's been eating trash that people throw, I have zero interest in eating that now. It's got a good big hide, which a buddy of mine wants, but I'm looking for the meat, and that's not what I want. So it's kind of disappointing. But anyway, as I was going to the other side of the road and kind of meandering my way back up the hills there, I saw some nice separation between little patches of muskeg and some nice trails. Some of the trails were just laden with deer tracks, but it's so loud, man. It's that spongy muskeg, but it's got some of those low-lying, really loud leaves. So that's super loud. And then I saw a couple separate spots that were a little bit more low and had some skunk cabbage, and had some bears had been there and had been digging. So really cool to just see that and get the lay of the land and get some new territory in the brain. I keep a little hunting journal just so I remember all this stuff. Remember the wind, remember the day, remember the tracks exactly where it is, because it's amazing how much stuff you don't remember, or you remember it incorrectly. So yeah, adding to the portfolio of stuff that I have, it's great. So I'm going to cook up some venison tonight, getting very, very low. Steve Ranella would call it a meat crisis. I'm definitely getting there. Need to get some more fish in the freezer. Need to get this spring bear and get some meat for the freezer. But episode 40. There you go. Conservation and bear hunt recap. It's springtime. It is May time. It is get after it time. There's no better time to be an Alaskan. Not that there's ever a bad time to be an Alaskan, but right now, man, it is. I feel like I'm 24 years old, fresh out of college, and I'm just living the dream. I just turned 37 last week, but I just feel so giddy. I don't know. I don't know what the word is, man. I just feel so alive and so excited and overwhelmed. I feel overwhelmed. There's so much stuff to do. You take the skiff out for a drive. Just go out, check it out, see some whales. Or you can go out and look for bear. Or you can go camp. Or you can go hike. Or you can go fish. There's just so much going on. It's unbelievable. There's so much to do. There's no excuses. And it's so close. You don't have to drive 2 hours to get to the beach. You don't have to drive 2 hours to get to that trail that you like and then deal with traffic on the way back in. You're there. It's right here. Right here. Right here. 2 minutes away. I'm right there. I can walk down to the marina. I could put a yoke on me and I could walk my skiff down to the marina. It'd probably take a while and probably be a bad idea. But I'm very close to the marina. I can launch my boat, and it's just rural. You're there. You're there. You're watching whales right there. You're hiking. You're hunting for bear. 4 minutes away is where I saw that big sow. So I'm looking, and I'm seeing deer dropping and wolf tracks. It's all right here. It's right here. Unbelievable place to live, Alaska. But don't live here. Don't move here. It sucks. Don't move here. Stay wherever you are. And listen to this tomorrow morning on your commute to wherever you work. But don't move here. Call that episode 40. Make sure you go to the mediocrealaskan.com. I've been doing some stuff for Caffeine and Kilos. It's kind of fun. It's more the health and everything is coffee related, but it's fun to do some health stuff and diversify the writing. Make sure you also check out Western Hunting Journal. It's a new publication that I'm writing for, and then also Alaska Sporting Journal. Have a couple articles coming out in there, so keeping it busy. Capital City Weekly has my stuff, and Sit News has my stuff. I'm getting full bore, trying to go full send on this writing thing as a side hustle, and I'm loving it. So check out all of those things, but all of them will be available to you if you go to themediocrealaskan.com. We'll call that episode 40, and we'll talk to you next time.